All right, we're recording. Hi, everybody. If you're joining virtually watching the recording, thank you for coming. If you are watching the recording, feel free to grab 2 blocks or 2 stacks of books, strap or a belt, totally optional, but possibly you might decide you want to use it. Tonight's buddies, we have a rainbow unicorn named Blitz, and the reindeer whose name I forgot. So most of the adults here will find the humor in the fact that the unicorn's name is Blitz. All right, but we, do double buddy tonight. We're double buddying it. Awesome. Okay, so thanks guys for coming. It's been a week. Feels like it's been forever since I've seen you. So tonight I kind of wanted to do the theme around finding the one thing that feels good when everything else is in chaos, when everything else is hard, when everything else is spinning. Really, I'm trying to bring that focus to, there's always one thing, right? There's always just one little thing, one little, pinprick of light, one little bit of hope. So really want you to think about that tonight as we're in the poses, as we're in these shapes. Maybe you are thinking about your own life, maybe you're thinking about the world at large, but that there's a little bit of light breaking through the cracks of the darkness always. So maybe bringing some attention to that this evening, even if you're having a difficult time. So that being said, find a comfortable seat, feel free to lay down, find any way that allows you to settle into this space. You can even stand up. So finding your way to settle in. Find a breath. Take an inhale. Open the mouth, just let it go. Starting at the soles of the feet, allow the breath to begin to pull through your body and begin to do a body scan. Letting those inhales pull through the soles, the ankles, up the shins, and the calves, and the knees, and the thighs. You take that exhale here. And bringing the breath back in with the deep inhale. And allowing it to continue up your body through the hip points, buttocks, low back, front body, the back body. Maybe you find another exhale. Bring that new air in, find another inhale. Bring the air through the fingertips, the palms, the backs of hands, forearms, the upper arms, the shoulders. You exhale once again here. Inhaling again, up through the neck and the throat, the face, the back of the head, crown, and exhale. Where is your mind drawn to? Where is it stuck? Where is it sticking in the body? Do you have an ache? Do you have a sensation? Do you have an awareness that pulls you somewhere ever so strongly? Often our mind, in order to protect ourselves, will go to the place inside of us that doesn't feel good. It's not because maybe that place is more important, or maybe you begin to think that it is and you're overwhelmed by something that doesn't feel well. It's just a way to make sure that you're safe and you're aware of what's going on. So if you find yourself drawn to something that's uncomfortable inside of you, it's okay. Now I want you to bring your awareness to something that feels good. Maybe it's taking a cleansing breath, deep inhale through the nose, opening the mouth and just letting it all go. Maybe it's feeling your body against the earth and supported. Maybe it's knowing that you have an hour to yourself and you can spend it doing some Yin Yoga. Bring your awareness to something that feels good and allow the awareness to linger there. And just let the breath come and go around that awareness, around the good. Allow it to begin to radiate. Begin to add some focus to the heart space. Untitled Chakra. Bring some breath in through this heart. Feel the pulse of it. Feel the beat. Become aware. Allow yourself to feel a little more connected through the chest, to this heart energy. And begin to bring in your intention. Allow it to circle with this breath. Allow it to pulse and fill up with the heartbeat. Feel it weave itself within the heart energy. With every breath that you take. Let that intention grow. Collective breath for intention here. Take a deep inhale. Open the mouth, release it out. Allowing that intention to grow even larger than your physical being. Take 3 soft, even rounds of breath here to bring in or let go of anything that you might need. When you're ready, just slowly begin to come back. Once you've returned, we're going to find our first shape. It will be lung bench. So you'll have the books or the blocks like an equal sign. One stack is for your head, one stack is for the broad part of your shoulder blades. So these blocks will not come lower than if you wear a bra, the bra strap. If you don't, that's awesome. Just imagine. So these blocks are pretty high and they're an even height. If you get down onto them and they bother you, you can place the towel or a blanket to cushion it. You can even roll the towel. You can have your feet towards the outer edges of the mat and let the knees knock in, or let the soles of feet be together and let the knees fall out. If you have any questions about getting into this shape, you can just send something through the chat box, or you can unmute yourself. Again, remember, it's fine to do that. It's a shared space, so that's okay. And then gather the breath deeply and release. Inhale once again and let go. is one of those poses that allows for energy to just build within the body, prana. Maybe as you find your breath coming and going here, you can feel the tingle of that throughout your being. And maybe finding a way to focus on something that's good within the shape and the time that is spent here. And Okri writes, "We are greater than our despair. The negative aspects of humanity are not the most real and authentic. The most authentic thing about us is our capacity to create, to overcome, to endure, to transform, to love, and to be greater than our suffering. We are best defined by the mystery that we are all still here and can still rise upwards, still create better civilizations, that we can face our raw realities, and that we will survive the greater despair that the greater future might bring." Maybe the discomfort that you often feel lately resonates more in the mind than in the physical being. Maybe that's where you have to search for that little bright piece of light or hope or clearing. What's a thought that you could bring in or a word? Maybe you need to linger more in the sensation of the body if the body feels okay. It wasn't until she reached the shore that she realized she was meant for water. She no longer yearned to linger on the lawn where she had been rejected. She had reached her end, and it was there she learned to see. This was not the end at all. This was the beginning. And it would be here, as the waves rushed in, she would hear the sea calling. She is starting again. She is coming out to sea to be a soul set free from who she was back then. And she will go forth in deeper waters and hope as the anchor for her soul, reminding her that it was never other people that made her feel truly whole. And all along, she was called to more, a glorious life beyond the shore. Morgan Harper Nichols. And notice that breath, that space, maybe a tingle of energy, maybe an awareness of something fresh and new filling you up, entering your body, clearing out something that might be old and stale, seeing where your focus could lie. That small sliver or glimmer of hope, sunshine. There was a thing in me that dreamed of trees, quiet house and green and modest acres, a little way from every troubling town, a little way from factories, schools, laments. I would have time, I thought, and time to spare, with only streams and birds for company, to build out of my life a few wild stanzas, and then it came to me that so was death, a little way away from everywhere. There was a thing in me still dreams of trees, but let it go, homesick for moderation. Half the world's artists shrink or fall away. Any fine solution, let him tell it. Meanwhile, I bend my heart toward lamentation. Whereas the times implore our true involvement, the blades of every crisis point the way. I would it were not so, but so it is. Whoever made music of a mild day. Mary Oliver. Gather the breath deeply and release. Inhale once again and just let go. When you're ready, maybe you're bringing the knees back up together, finding your way up to a seated position. Find some seated cat-cow here, maybe a tabletop with some full cat-cow. You're looking for any release that feels organic for you. So find a little movement. Let this shape go. And when you're ready, find the pause. Find soft gaze or closed eyes, no rush. Just begin to notice what has come up, what has come to visit. And maybe it's a sound, a smell, an idea. Notice it without judgment. And we'll slowly come back and find our way to our next shape. So our next shape, I always give an option here, but I would like you to try first the half dragonfly. So one leg will come back and another leg will come forward. You might want to sit up on that little bit of folded towel or a blanket. So the option here is to fold forward or over the leg. If this is really bad on your hamstring, give it a slight bend. You can even put a little cushioning underneath that front knee. Now, if this is excruciating for you, then the option is the half butterfly. So the foot would come by the thigh and the knee would fall out. You can fold towards the center, over the leg, to the side. So those are your two options, but normally I don't offer the half dragonfly first, but try it out. See how it feels in your body. See where your body is responding and giving you some room to play. Again, you can always shoot me a message in the chat box if you are not having any of it. Let me know. I don't see anybody hailing at me, so gather the breath deeply and release. Inhale once again and let go. And coming into that idea of there's a lot of sensation here. If you feel a lot, if you're experiencing a lot, if your mind is just drawn to that and stuck there, can you bring it to one thing that is good in this moment? Not necessarily in the whole scheme of everything, but can you begin to find a habit of seeing what could be good in this moment, even if there's a whole bunch of other things going on for you? That day I saw beneath dark clouds, passing light over the water, and I heard the voice of the world speak out. I knew then, as I had before, Life is no passing memory of what has been, nor the remaining pages in a great book, waiting to be read. It is the opening of eyes long closed. It is the vision of far-off things, seen for the silence they hold. It is the heart after years of secret conversing, speaking out loud in the clear air. It is Moses in the desert, fallen to his knees before the lit bush. It is the man throwing away his shoes as if to enter heaven and finding himself astonished, opened at last, fallen in love with solid ground. David White. As you breathe here, can you deepen your fold? Can you deepen your breath? Can you find that next level in this shape? One day you finally knew what you had to do and began. Though the voices around you kept shouting their bad advice, though the whole house began to tremble and you felt the old tug at your ankles, mend my life, each voice cried. You didn't stop. You knew what you had to do. Through the wind, though the wind pried with its stiff fingers the very foundations, though their melancholy was terrible, it was already late enough, and a wild night, and the road full of fallen branches and stones. Mary Oliver. Gather the breath deeply and release. Inhale once again and let go. When you're ready, you're going to roll up, release from this initial side. Feet can go mat width apart. You can let the knees tick-tock side to side to release out. If you need seated cat-cow or any other type of release, feel free to take it. We're going to take 3 rounds of breath as our in-between before we just move right to the other side. So inhale and exhale for 1. Inhale, exhale for 2. Inhale and exhale for 3. So finding your way to your other side, other leg will go long and either the opposite leg is going to come back or you'll find the butterfly, foot comes by the thigh and the knee falls out. Again, invitation to lean over the leg towards the middle, folding over, and that goes for either shape. That stays the same. Again, you can sit up on that edge of the blanket, which will help you get a little tilt in the pelvis forward. And if something is radically different for you on this side, maybe you have to change the shape from what you did on the other side. Remember, no pain in the knees. You can bend that front knee if you're having too much discomfort in the hamstring. Gather the breath deeply and release. Inhale once again and let go. Perspective. Day cannot help darkening into night. The fiery heat of the sun blazes its life-giving fury, shining its rays in all that grows. Nocturnal shadows invite rest. Within that quiet space lies truth. It is not my nature to be silent. The light of my words, like the sun, sets in the obscurity of ignorance and fear, revealing ferocity of an unsettling sort. In the tranquility of my mind, agitation begins to stir, a symbol of work to be done. Dawn brings with it new waves of hope. Nature's wisdom is greater than human ambition. It will survive all manner of greed-born destruction without judgment or bias. It will endure. Our puny individual pursuits morph into a collective, universal mission, leaving us in the wake of divine dynamism, a humbling token of control's illusion and reminder of how small we really are. Sherry Sada Hank. How I go into the woods. Ordinarily, I go to the woods alone, not a single friend, for they are all smilers and talkers and therefore unsuitable. I don't really want to be witnessed talking to the catbirds or hugging the old black oak tree. I have my way of praying, as you no doubt have yours. Besides, when I am alone, I can become invisible. I can sit on the top of a dune as motionless as an uprising of weeds. Till the foxes run by unconcerned, I can hear the almost unhearable sound of the roses singing. If you have ever gone to the woods with me, I must love you very much. Sometimes you hear a voice through the door calling you, as fish out of water hear the waves, or a hunting falcon hears the drums come back. This turning toward what you deeply love saves you. Children fill their shirts with rocks and carry them around. We're not children anymore. Read the book of your life which has been given you. A voice comes to your soul saying, lift your foot, cross over, move into the emptiness of question and answer and question. Rumi. Gather the breath deeply and release. Inhale once again and let go. Finding your way, lifting yourself back up, releasing from the side. Feet can come mat width apart and tap knees side to side. Then finding any release that you need from this shape, whether it's a downward dog, whether it's a full cat-cow or child's pose. Maybe you need a cobra. So finding your way, what your body is calling you to. Might be a twist. And when you're ready, find that pause, soft gaze, closed eyes. Just find a moment, allowing yourself to become aware about what's come up. Maybe it's that shape on its own. Maybe things are beginning to string together for you. Just beginning to notice without judgment. And when you're ready, slowly begin to come back. We'll find our next shape. So you might need something to sit up on underneath you. We're going to find shoelace, which is where we cross one knee over the other. You're going to bring your right knee behind the left and then come to sit back. If you don't need the books, that's fine. And then you can also fold forward. So if this doesn't work for you, and it's not going to work for everybody, and one side might work and the other side might not, then you're going to come down on your back. And this is where the strap or the belt could be useful, but you don't have to have it. And you're just going to cross your shins. You don't have the strap. You can just kind of hold on to your feet or just bring your hands to the front of the shins to give a little weight to pull on those hip points. If you have the strap, pull it around the shins and give it some weight to pull down. So those are your two options. So bringing the right knee behind the left and sitting back, or if you are down on your back, left shin is over the right. Again, if you have any questions, send a chat, send a smoke signal. You can unmute yourself. It's okay to do that. Gather the breath deeply and release. Inhale once again and let go. And here's one of those moments that I'll ask again. Can you come to that thing in your being, that idea, that breath, that crack in the darkness with sunlight, where you can find something that's good in this moment? Melody Beatty, sadness. Ultimately, to grieve our losses means to surrender to our feelings. So many of us have lost so much, have said so many goodbyes, have been through so many changes. We may want to hold back the tides of change, not because that change isn't good, but because we have had so much change, so much loss. Sometimes, when we are in the midst of pain and grief, we become short-sighted, like members of a tribe described in the movie Out of Africa. You put them in prison, one character said, describing this tribe. They die. Why? Asked another character. Because they can't grasp the idea that they'll be let out one day. They think it's permanent, so they die. Many of us have so much grief to get through. Sometimes we begin to believe grief or pain is a permanent condition. The pain will stop. Once felt and released, our feelings will bring us to a better place than where we started. Feeling our feelings instead of denying or minimizing them is how we heal from our past and move forward into a better future. Feeling our feelings is how we let go. It may hurt for a moment, but peace and acceptance are on the other side. So is a new beginning. Help me fully embrace and finish my endings so I may be ready for my new beginnings. Maybe in this place, if nothing is feeling good, it can be the idea of something new coming in. If you're full of sensation, maybe you can bring your thought to this having an ending point and something new beginning. Gather the breath deeply and release. Inhale once again and let go. If you're on your back, you'll release the bind and just hug the knees in and release. If you are seated, you can tip forward, release that right leg. You can find some cow and cat. You can outstretch legs, one and then the other. Wherever you are, we're going to find 3 rounds of breath. So inhale and exhale for 1. Inhale, exhale for 2. Inhale, exhale for 3. I know you're super excited for the other side. You've been waiting for it all day, right? Here we go. So if you're coming to it from the tabletop, left knee comes behind the right, and you're finding your way to sitting back on something or on the earth. Each side will feel different. So if you get here and you find this isn't working on this side, feel free to come to your back. And then you're going to forward fold. If you're on your back, then the right leg's going on top this time. Again, you can have the strap or belt around you. You can hold the feet. You can just put pressure on the shins. So whatever works to bring in that sensation in the hips. And gather the breath deeply and release. Inhale once again. And just let go. Ask yourself the kinds of questions that go beyond today's desires and dig deeper into the well of what you need. What feelings do you need to acknowledge? What fears have you tucked away? What things have you worked so hard for that have yet to see the light of day? What great offering would you bring the world? You had to do it anonymously. What would you tell your younger self to encourage her to live courageously? Morgan Harper Nichols. Bob Hiscock wrote, "The river is high. I love to smoke pot with the river. Love it. Rain sat at my table and told me what it's like to lick Edith Piaf's grave. I go along thinking I'm separate from trash day and the weird hairdo my cat wakes up with. I am of the avalanche as much as I am its tambourine. Rivers crashing against my sleep, like it took applause apart and put it back together as a riot of wet mouths adoring my ears. It's over my head when it explains string theory, an affection to me, when it tells me to be the code breaker, not the code. What does that mean? Why does lyric poetry exist? When will water open its mouth and tell us how to be clouds, how to rise and morph and die and flourish and be reborn, all at the same time, all without caring if we have food in our teeth or our teeth in our eyes, or hair in our soup or a piano in our pockets? Just play the damn tune. The river is bipolar but has flushed its meds. I'm dead, but someone has to finish all the cheese in the fridge. We're a failed species if suction cups are important, if intelligence isn't graded on a curve. But if desperation counts, if thunderstorms are the noise in our heads, given a hall pass and rivers swell because orchestras aren't always there when we need them, well then, I still don't know a thing. I let it all go, and cake and pictures and clocks poured out of you. Past things, goodbye things. I let you go that day on our mountainside, because if I didn't, I'd have fallen off the cliff with you. And some people are never worth dying for. Aaron Van Buren. Gather the breath deep and release. Inhale once again and let go. If you're on your back, release the spine, hug the knees in and release, hug them in and release. If you're in the seat, tip forward, release the one leg from behind the other. Find your cat-cow, find a little mini flow, downward dog, any shape that feels organic. Find the movements that you need that allow you to release. And when you're ready, we'll find the pause. Soft gaze or closed eyes. Just notice. Notice the shape on its own. Maybe notice if they're stringing themselves together. thoughts coming up? Do you have smells, sound, or things bringing clarity? Are they fuzzy? You notice these things without judgment. Allow it to come in and allow it to pass by. And then slowly begin to come back. We'll find our next shape. So we're going to do wide-legged child or frog. If you're doing the frog, then the knees are coming out right from the hips. And then the legs go out, that frog shape. So it's very much a groin stretch. Maybe you need something underneath your abdomen for a little bit of support, or your arms, forehead can come to the earth. If that's too much, then toes touch, knees go wide, and you come down. You can always stack your fists. You can also do the wide-legged, you can do the frog pose against the wall. Again, those knees are coming right out from where your hips are, meaning we don't have an angle from the hip down to the knee. So this line is parallel to the wall, and you're trying to keep the feet parallel to the floor. Again, intense in the hips. So finding whatever place feels okay, gives you some sensation. Again, feel free to unmute yourself or send me a chat. So gather the breath deeply and release. Inhale once again and let go. Khalil Gibran writes on fear. It is said that before entering the sea, a river trembles with fear. She looks back at the path she has traveled from the peaks of the mountains, the long winding road crossing forests and villages, and in front of her she sees an ocean so vast that to enter there seems nothing more than to disappear forever. But there is no other way. The river cannot go back. Nobody can go back. To go back is impossible in existence. The river needs to take the risk of entering the ocean, because only then will fear disappear. Because that's where the river will know it's not about disappearing into the ocean, but of becoming the ocean. True contentment comes like unexpected rain, soaking into the soil of the earth's dry floor, reminding you that perhaps there is hope for the seeds you have sown. On this road of longing, may you find belonging in the arms of grace and never be the same. For it is here you will find you will be loved as you are. You will be seen as you are, and you will not be left as you are. For you have been invited to go on this journey of being shaped into who you were meant to be. an original work of art. Through all you are feeling and all your inner longing, may your soul find comfort and peace and belonging. Morgan Harper Nichols. If you're in that place of intense sensation, come back to that glimmer and idea of something good in this moment, something that feels good, maybe an idea that is uplifting, the idea of hope, the idea of sunshine, maybe even the idea that this too will end. Gather the breath deeply and release. Inhale once again and just let go. When you're ready, releasing from the shape in any way that you need to. Maybe you're finding a downward dog or a cat cow. Maybe you're finding child's pose. So finding your organic release. Then when you're ready, find the pause. Find that in-between moment. Soft gaze, closed eyes. Just notice. Notice what has come up. We slowly begin to come back. We're going to find our way onto our backs for bridge pose. So if you have that block or stack of books, keep them close. Come down onto your back, feet in the earth, lift the hips, bring what you have underneath the sacrum, not the fleshy part of your tush and not the low curve in the back. Then palms can face up to keep that heart open. You want to play with the sensation of extending the legs long on the earth, you can, but this usually feels better the higher you can get the blocks or the books. It is perfectly okay just to keep your feet on the earth and the knees bent. And gather the breath deeply and release. Inhale once again and just let go. The heart is open here, the entire front body vibrating up to the sky and the universe, while still grounding through the sacrum. What can feel good for this moment? What air can you bring in? What can you let go of? Allow yourself to play there. Gather the breath deeply and release. Inhale once again and let go. When ready, press the feet into the earth, lift the hips, remove whatever is underneath you. Come down slowly, upper back, middle back, lower back. Hug the knees into the chest and release. Hug the knees into the chest and release. Make circles on the sacrum 3 times in one direction, 3 times in the other. If this feels glorious and you need to stay here, feel free. When ready, hug the knees into the chest. Allow the knees to fall over to the right. Arms open in a T or cactus. Look over to the left, opposite direction of the knees. And just find this twist. Notice even here what is left that you need to release. Where can you linger on that feels good? Take one last round of breath this side. Deep inhale. Release it out. Help the knees come back up to center. Hug them in and release. Hug them in and release. Make the circles on the sacrum 3 times in one direction, 3 times in the other. And when you're ready, hug the knees in, allow them to fall over to the left, arms open up in a T or cactus, look over to the right. Find this twist on the other side. Find the breath. Again, releasing out anything that still lingers that it's time to let go of. Take one final round of breath this side. Deep inhale. Open the mouth, let go. Bring those knees back up to center. Hug them in and release. Hug them in and release. Invitation here to make any final movements that you need to before we set up for Shavasana, final rest. You are at home, you could put the legs right up the wall. You can have legs long and place a bolster, a blanket, a pillow underneath the knees to just give them a little lift. You could have soles of feet together and the knees can knock out. What would feel good for you in this moment? What do you need? Finding that shape, that position that really allows you to relax and release down. And take a sip of air into your body. And another. And another. One more. Open the mouth, let it all out. Let everything just release into the earth. Eyes are heavy. You can just soften in the brow. Pull the bottom jaw back and forth. Release any final tension. The tongue be heavy, mouth relaxed. Having this thought, just let it pass. Another one sneaks in, just let it go. Enjoy these final moments, and I will call you back. slowly begin to come back, bringing breath back into your beautiful body, joining spirit with the visible. Wiggling fingers and toes, nodding head side to side. Maybe bringing the arms overhead for a morning stretch to bring the body back. Where you are is divine. The invitation is always to remain there. If ready, hug the knees into the chest and roll over onto the right. Pausing here. A place of beginnings. Knowing that all things from this moment forward are possible. Ready, finding your way to seated, closed eyes or soft gaze, reclosing them once there. And pausing here, and just noticing what has shifted, what has changed. Hopefully we filled what was empty and emptied what was full. Gathering hands at heart center, palms pressed together. Coming back to heartfelt intention. Breathing it in through this heart space. Take a deep inhale. Open the mouth, release it out, allowing it to fly off to the universe, knowing it will be heard. It is an honor and privilege to practice with you today. We bow our head to our hearts together. We say, Namaste. Thank you, everybody. If you're joining us on the recording, thank you for coming and being part of this mini adventure on the mat. I'm so grateful for you to be here. I'm going to pause the recording.